Kirk Herbstreit, sleep-deprived analyst for the mothership, was on College Game Day, and he had this to say about players opting out of bowl games.
What's the difference as a player in saying these games are meaningless when, Des, we played in quote-unquote meaningless games? I mean, I know you guys were here a lot, but I just don't understand. If you don't make it to the playoff, how is it meaningless to play football and compete? Isn't that what we do as football players? We compete. So I don't know if changing and expanding it is going to change anything. I really don't. I think this era of player just doesn't love football.
Okay. Now, that's what people pulled out of this. That's the poll quote, as we like to say in the business. Now, Herbie did clarify it later by saying he didn't mean every player, which is obvious, not every player. But, I think we have to understand what it was like when we were growing up is not reality. You can't have this sanctimonious nonsense that says you don't love the game because you're not going to play in a bowl game. And Matt Corral getting hurt, I know that that's emblematic of the player should be thinking about, playing in the NFL. If he wants to play, it's up to him. We don't need to put pressure on Kenny Pickett to play or not play. Ohio State wide receivers, whether they play or they don't. Why is it that players can't look at this as a business? Because the coaches do. Right? Brian Kelly wasn't with Notre Dame. Lincoln Riley wasn't with Oklahoma. We're okay with that. And they're the ones making $10, $12, $16 million a year. You don't want to play? You don't feel like you need to play? You're being advised not to play? I don't look at that and say you don't love the game. I think you're looking at this as a business. And I didn't agree with what Herbstreit had to say, or Desmond Howard, because we're caught up in this time capsule that says you got to love the game and you got to go play in that game. The pool and weed eater game, bowl game, you better play. That's the way we do it. We love football. You can love football. They love football, and they would like to be paid for playing football. They would love to play in the NFL. They would love to have a long career in the NFL. We don't let players look at this as a business, but we certainly let coaches who abandon their teams. They didn't give a damn. Do you love football? Well, yeah, but I love money too. Yeah, because that's at the forefront of all of this. Yeah, Paul.
There is a counter argument. You can say that they are paid now. They are paid athletes that they can market themselves. Kenny Pickett didn't play in the bowl game. I wonder if his NIL agreements are okay with that. Like, did he agree to any company say like I'll play a full season? Or Matt Corral, did he play to satisfy some type of side deal he had?
Maybe.
Yeah.
But it's their choice. Like, Kirk Herbstreit makes millions of dollars. So does Desmond Howard. Like, who are you to say whether somebody's son should be playing in a bowl game or not? Like, the mothership carries all of the bowl games. They want star power. Like, there's a conflict of interest here because it sounds like you're just spewing out something that ESPN wants you to say. And I don't agree with that. And I think Herbie's going to join us maybe later this week. Yeah, Seton.
Yeah, it feels like it's always the people getting rich off the games that are like, hey, what do you mean, star player? You have to play.
I want them to play. I wanted to see Kenny Pickett play. I wanted to see Christian McCaffrey or Leonard Fournette play. But I didn't go, I'm not watching now. Is it the matchup? When we get to the playoffs and we expand them to 12 teams, will we have less players sitting out? Maybe. Hopefully. But there's no guarantee. And I don't single out Matt Corral and say, that's why you shouldn't play. He made a decision. And it's up to him. I don't know if it hurts his draft stock. I mean, Sam Bradford separated his shoulder. He ended up still being the number one pick. Todd Gurley tore up his knee. Willis McGahee blew his knee out. There are certain moments, and certain players in their careers are derailed by this. But it's up to the individual.